Hello everyone, Colin Canet here for WoodWorkWeb. Today's video is going to be a collaboration, long distance, with some friends that I've met from Arizona who make wooden signs. Now here's the wooden sign that they made for me, and today I'm going to show you some snippets of just how easy it is to make these wooden signs when you have the right techniques, and Dave and Eric from Dave Signs are going to show you how easy it is. Now, before we get started on that, let me tell you a quick story. A long time ago, I was hired by a company to do in-store demos on a router, and I thought the best thing to do would be to make signs. And so I asked them to send me a router bit for making signs, and I would make signs for people at this demo. And this is the bit that they sent me, and the purpose of this sign, or the way this sign works, is it digs in and you use it for scribing out the letters. So this little bit clears out an awful lot of material. And the place I was doing this demo, the shelves were full of sawdust and chips, and the manager walked by and said, "I don't think you should be doing that. It's going to take us too long to clean the shelves." So I had to stop doing the demo. But that was my experience with sign making. But you know, I've always thought that in order to make signs, you needed to have a CNC machine. And if you have one, that's great. But if you don't, Dave and Eric can show you how to make some great little signs using one of their bits that they have made up, that they've figured out how these things work. And you can actually cut your own hand signs with, if you've got a router, you know what, you can make some gorgeous signs, and they show you everything on how to do it. It's all free. You buy the bit, of course, but they've got, I think, 400 and some odd videos, and they show you how to make all of these signs. So a really intriguing thing. And for me, it's a great way for me to introduce my audience to something new to woodworking that I don't do and didn't know anything about. So that's my role here today. Now look at that gorgeous sign, and you know, the first thing for making sign is you need to select the wood, and what they're using is some red cedar, and they actually purchased these blanks. They're for sign making. But you can, I'm sure there's other woods that you can use as well. The nice thing with cedar, of course, it's nice and easy to work with, and it looks great too. You know, it finishes up beautifully, and it's this wood that they're using is all laminated. And if you look here, you can see the different laminations there. So that's one of the first things, is what kind of wood do you use. They talk about that. They'll show you all of that. And then they'll talk about routers and show you what routers they use, what bits they're using, and they talk all about that. Now these little trim routers that they use to do all of this fine detail work, one of the tricks that they've done is made a base, and you can purchase it, but you know what, you can also make your own. It's just a plastic base with a couple of knobs on the end, a hole in the middle for the bit to go through. And you know what? It gives you much better control than just trying to do this. So it gives you a nice wide area and not too difficult to make. Then for cutting out the center part here, they used a little bit bigger router. You could probably use this, but it needs a little bit bigger base, so the wider plastic base would probably work, but they'll tell you all about that. You know, back in the day when Paul and I started WoodWorkWeb 15 or 16 years ago, you know, we didn't have any money. So what we did was we went to the hardware store and got some construction foam and got some letters, enlarged them on the computer and printed them off and cut them out with the bandsaw and glued them on here. That's how we made that sign. It's not very elegant, but you know, it served a purpose. That's an actual brace up there, and it's wired onto the frame. It's a big, awkward, clunky sign, and this methodology is far more elegant. You know, this is a perfect size little sign for me. You know, if I didn't have the WoodWorkWeb sign up there, I would definitely be putting this one up. In fact, I might put this up behind the table saw because I have nothing back there. But the other thing is I get asked to speak at a variety of woodworking clubs and woodworking guilds and service clubs like Rotary and so on. And they always ask, do you have some kind of a sign that we can put up so people know who you're associated with? And for me, this is going to be the perfect little sign that I can bring along for those presentations. So before I close this video, what I want to do is play a few snippets so you get a little bit of an idea of the process that Dave and Eric go through, and what you're going to see is Eric working on the WoodWorkWeb sign, and then we'll send you over to, if you'll click on and go over to their website so you'll actually see the entire process, and that's my role in this collaboration so that you get to see a new methodology and somebody else's ideas on how they're making wooden signs. So I'm Colin Canet for WoodWorkWeb. Don't forget to subscribe and zip over to Dave and Eric's YouTube channel and have a look at how the WoodWorkWeb sign was made. It's pretty cool.
Our process, we have many different ways that we get the layout on the board, what we call the layout. It may be done through spraying and what we call layout letters, and you can see a lot of that on our channel. Or it may be done with artwork, like that's a special artwork project like this. So I wanted to give you an idea of what this is, the vinyl that I was talking about. But again, this happens to be two-sided adhesive, so I can put it on there, one-sided adhesive on the back.
It could be printed out on just plain paper. Again,
yeah,
and use adhesive spray.
This could just as easily be plain paper and lay it down, spray the back of it, and stick it on the board. So I'm going to go around. But anyway, so I'll talk as I'm spraying here. The reason I don't use spray paint, two major reasons. Number one, spray paint bleeds into the grain of the board. Something. I'll just leave it pointed at you guys. I love the way the grain on this multicolored perfect plank, it's kind of like a butcher block. I love the way it jumps out when you put a finish on it.